potatoes. You just kind of gradually mix that in.
And that was about a cup of that?
Yes.
And I'm sure you just mix it until
Till it's thickened and you know that
holds
there's
together,
yes,
yes.
and you know that there's potatoes there.
So sometimes it might take more, sometimes it might take a little less.
Yes, and if you've simmered this away, the liquid away a little, you can always add more liquid.
That's, yes.
It's beginning to.
Yes, we haven't really had the proper amount of time to cook that, so.
But it looks like it's
Thickening up nicely.
Yes, looks like my recipe at home.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Great. I think we have enough potatoes
Yes,
there.
I think that was just enough.
Just enough. Great.
Right.
Get
Okay.
those out of your way here.
And just stir this up until the potato. Now you can see how the potatoes are.
Yes, they're thickening that.
And you can still see a few pieces of the beans.
Uh-huh.
And of course you can see the sauerkraut.
Right.
And then I think when it is all cooked up, we have a bowl. Are we?
Yes, we have a bowl right here.
Okay, and you may have to help me.
Yes, I'll help
lift
you
that
with
up.
the,
I think that's cooked up. Cooked up enough.
all right. Kind of a heavy pan here.
There. And then, too, in case your dinner wasn't quite ready, you could leave it in that pan and cover it and just take it off the heat.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
off the heat, but where it would stay
Where
a
it
little
would
warm.
stay warm,
And
right.
then you could serve it in the dish.
Wonderful.
Or, you know, you could put it in the dish, and maybe if you had a microwave, you could heat it up in that.
And then garnish it with a
Yes,
little
for
parsley.
some more color.
Yes, how
Now, look at
beautiful.
that.
Well, and that's the potato sauerkraut side dish.
Right.
Thanks for both those recipes.
You're welcome.
And Marilyn's going to also be preparing a couple of other recipes for us. And the next one is a TriColored Fettuccine. Marilyn, TriColored Fettuccine, does that ever sound delicious? And it's going to be so colorful. What other ingredients go in that besides the fettuccine?
Well, I've already started. I've put, there's 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil that I have already put in the pan.
Okay.
And that's really for flavor. The olive oil adds the flavor.
All right.
Then there is 4 strips of bacon, which we have cut up, and I put that in to brown that, and that's what we're doing here. Then we're going to have the onions. We're going to add 1 medium onion that has been cut up, and then we're going to add 1 cup of mushroom soup.
Okay. Is that a can?
I mean,
yeah,
a can.
Okay.
And then 1 cup of milk. If you use the can for measuring, just not quite up to the top.
All right.
And then we're going to add 1 jar or can of sliced mushrooms. And then here we have the 8 ounces of fettuccine, which we cook separately.
Okay, so that was 8 ounces of uncooked, the dry,
Correct.
and it looks like this. It's beautiful looking fettuccine, 3 different colors.
Yes.
You've cooked it up, and this is what it looks like already prepared. Now, you've cooked up your bacon already.
Correct.
And there is a certain amount of the olive oil and the bacon in there.
Yes.
Do you leave that in for the recipe?
Well, if you are on a diet or you don't want the extra fat in there, you can pour it off. But we feel that it adds a little more taste to it.
Yeah, I'm sure that olive oil and bacon does add a flavor to it, and you aren't going to be eating the whole recipe yourself.
No. So I think that the mixture in here is just about done.
All
So
right.
then we will add the onions. And that again was 1 medium onion that was cut up.
There again, we have these wonderful aromas with that bacon. Ooh, always smells so good.
And you let that you saute that for a few minutes. Just while that's sauteing just for a minute, maybe I could just mention that you see there are 3 different flavors of fettuccine noodles. The orange one is with tomato, and the green is with the spinach, and the plain is the wheat.
The wheat.
You could use all plain if you wanted. Many people do that, but I like the colored.
Oh yes, the colors that make it so pretty.
Okay,
And
so
a little bit different taste. They have a
Yes.
little different
Yes,
taste.
it does,
That'd
it
be
does.
Great.
okay, so I think that this probably is just about sauteed in here.
All right.
So then we're going to add the mushroom soup, cream of mushroom soup.
That's 1 can of that.
Correct.
That always is such a time saver, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Cream of
Yes.
mushroom soup.
Yes, if I had
We
to make
use
sauce.
that. We use that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Minnesotans, I guess they say we can't do without it. And
Okay.
I kind of believe it because we do use it a lot.
Okay.
It does make.
And then we're going to add the milk. And that
Okay.
was, you know, just a little less than a can or 1
Then 1 cup.
cup.
Of it. Sure.
We'll stir that up. Let that cook in a little.
A little bit for you.
And then we can add the mushrooms. And we left the juice in it. And you could drain it if you wanted.
Okay,
But it has, you know, a little more flavor.
that's right. That mushroom juice does have a little bit more flavor that it would add.
And then as this would cook, it would
It would thicken a
thicken
little
it.
bit, sure. And we don't have the luxury of time always, so we are going to have to hurry that along a little bit.
Okay.
But then you would add, when that is all nice and hot, then you would add your fettuccine, your cooked 8 ounces of fettuccine. Ooh, does that
Noodles.
ever look good?
Stir that all up. And that's another wonderful side dish too.
Oh, yes, that's
I know
marvelous.
some that just eat this as their main meal then.
Uh-huh. Well, it surely is delicious looking.
And it's all cooked.
I've tasted it, so I know it is. It is very, very tasty.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's it.
And heat that till the noodles are heated through.
Right.
Now, we're not going to wait till that. We're going to just pour it in our bowl here so we can show what it looks like in a nice serving dish. I'll hold that for you.
And that's colorful.
Oh, it is. It's just beautiful. And it looks like we've selected a bowl that's just the right size. And all those mushrooms and that wonderful bacon looks delicious. Add a little parsley for additional color. And there's the TriColored Fettuccine.
That's it.
And then coming up next, you have a cabbage and noodle
Yes.
side dish. Cabbage and noodle saute, and it looks like you have some really nice ingredients again here, Marilyn. What ingredients do you have?
Well, we've got sliced cabbage. We've got noodles, onions, the margarine or butter, and parsley, and ground, fresh ground pepper
Okay.
and salt.
all right. Now, how much butter or margarine do you have here?
We have a half a stick.
A half a stick.
And we-
Okay. And then with the cabbage, there
We
was
have 8 cups.
8 cups. And that's
cups.
really kind of coarsely shredded. I imagine that so it kind of keeps its shape and you can distinguish it from the noodles. And the amount of noodles?
And we have an 8-ounce package of the broad curly noodles that
Oh,
are
yeah.
that
Oh,
is cooked.
Yeah, and these curly noodles are so cute.
Yes.
And then the onion was
We have again we have a large, medium
okay.
sliced onion.
Okay, a medium to large sliced onion. All right, and then you're going to
Yes.
start using
And
with
in a
that-
warm pan now we're going to add the margarine or butter, whichever you prefer. And we kind of get that melted down a little.
Okay.
When that's melted down, see it's kind of. Then we will add the cabbage.
Okay.
You turn that down.
Yeah, I'll help you hold that now. A pretty heavy bowl, quite full. too.
Yes. And it really fills up the pan here.
Yes, it really does.
And we're going to add the onions too at this time
All right.
and mix that all up. And then we're going to cover it because we want it to cook down a little.
Okay. All right. Now that has to cook down for a while. And so maybe you can tell me, where did you get this particular recipe?
Well, this recipe was given to me by my sister-in-laws, someone where she worked. They were talking about having something with the meat for dinner, and the girl came up with this recipe.
Oh, great. And your fettuccine, your tricolored fettuccine, where did that one come from?
Well, that came from an Italian girl.
Uh-huh.
And we were over to her house for dinner one night, and she served it. And so, of course, we said, how did you make this? And she gave us the recipe.
Oh, and a little bit different than a regular Italian fettuccine.
Yes, it is.
But I know it is delicious. Can we take a peek at that and maybe stir that down a little bit? Now we have that.
And it is cooking down, you can see.
Oh, sure.
As you would.
Yes.
And you want to get this limp.
Okay, and
cabbage.
we might not have enough time to do that today, so ours might be a little bit crunchier than it normally would be. But, notice we have some nice parsley here.
Yes,
too.
and that adds color to the dish. Okay, that is
Great.
cooking down.
Yes, it is. Now you mentioned the salt and the pepper here. I'm sure that's going to be important
Yes.
in this recipe, isn't it?
Well, the salt you just add to whatever taste your family or you desire. But we like the freshly ground pepper because it gave it a kind of a zippy taste to it.
Yes,
And
yes.
as we can tell, these are vegetables that most people don't really use combined together.
No, they don't. You wouldn't think of a cabbage with noodles, but it certainly does sound like it's a very delicious recipe.
And of course, this being the harvest time, cabbages are plentiful.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it's cooking down.
Great.
And it isn't losing its color either.
No, actually, it's bringing out the green of the cabbage there.
And the onions, I can smell them too.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Okay. We're going to let that.
We cover this up again?
Yes. Why don't we cover that up again? And we're going to finish that recipe because we're kind of running short on time right now, and we'll show that at the end of the show.
Okay.
But what I would like to tell our audience now is that if they would like a copy of this evening's recipes, if you'll send us a self-addressed, stamped business-size envelope, being sure you do include the title of this evening's show, which is Savory Side Dishes, we'll be happy to get these recipes to you. With all of these savory side dishes that Marilyn has prepared for us this evening. We have our sauerkraut and potato side dish, our cheese souffle, our tri-colored fettuccine, and our cabbage and noodle saute. And Marilyn, they look fantastic. Everybody around the studio has been saying, I can't wait to try all of these delicious savory side dishes that you've prepared for us. Thanks so much for coming on again and sharing all of these recipes with us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Come back again.
Okay.
And thank you too for watching us. And we hope you'll tune us in again next time for At Ease with Cooking. Good night.